bringing news from a different page. Truth served hot and bold and strong. Every week we sing along. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Stories that make you think and pray. A light awaits at the end of day. Guided by the stars and stripes, through the stormiest of nights. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. When the world feels like a fight, hold your ground, stand for what's right. In the truth we'll find our way. Ed and Ronnie light the way. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Together we find unity.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie, and the show starts right now.
Not 5 minutes from now, not an hour from now, but right now.
Right
The show
now.
is starting.
Right now.
We are glad that it is right now so that we can be with you again tonight. You got two of us, as in 2 nights of us this week. You got 2 of us here, 2 nights of us.
That's
Your
right.
life should be full, right?
Anybody sick of us yet?
Oh. Well, now, you know, that could be an interesting little little way of opening things up. Is anybody sick of us yet?
Just wait. We got a whole nother hour. Whole nother hour.
Well, you see, I don't think that we've accomplished the you know how you say rebel rousing? I don't think we've accomplished the liberal rousing
Not yet.
crowd
Not yet.
yet.
Not yet.
Because had that been the case, everything would have just like blown up when you said, "Are you tired of us yet?" And it would have been kind of like the children playing in the Capitol building last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
For those that are in here with us, welcome. you know, we're kind of between a rock and a hard place here. I don't want this hour that we're together tonight to be all about making Democrats look bad. But they really don't need no assistance. They do it on their own. But we would be missing totally out if we didn't have a couple of the things that went on last night. So we'll have a little bit. I hope that people understand that them doing those things, those holding stupid signs up, getting kicked out, all of those are distractions. And Liberalism 101 tells us that they want to be a distraction either from what they've accomplished, which is nothing, much, or if you're going to promote what you've accomplished, which might be a lot, but then we can distract you away from that onto, stupid people. Boy,
there you are with that word again.
Stupid, right out of the chute.
Right out the gate.
Well, my dad always says this: if the shoe fits, wear it. That's what he always told me. But let's go ahead and run the clip that has Green getting kicked out.
All right. Well, I've got one that kind of shows the whole one angle, and I've got another one that shows a whole nother angle. So what was it, 5-6 minutes into a speech?
Yeah, at the very most.
Yeah. So here we go.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country. And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber. Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore.
So that was the 5 minutes in. Representative Al Green from Texas really showed his behind, and you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and he was escorted out.
Well, you know that was his intent.
Yeah.
It was more than obvious that he wanted that to happen, or at least something similar. Whether they escorted him out or if he just stood up and stormed out, I don't know, with his cane. I don't know if he's doing much storming out or whatever. It did seem like he kept pointing that cane almost like it was a weapon,
Yeah.
I guess it's a good thing that he didn't charge the president. Well, I don't know. He might got beaten up.
He'd have gotten taken down, that's for sure.
So I guess this would just be a hypothetical, but what if he wouldn't have left at that point? Would they have been willing to physically remove him?
Well, the speaker directed the master at arms to remove him from the House. So I would say that would probably be the next step. I don't know for sure. I can't recall any time before anybody being removed from the House during it's not a State of the Union, but they're calling it a State of the Union.
Well, they ought to just fix that to where they're all State of the Unions, because see, that's another distraction people can get is, well, see, it's not even the State of the Union address. That's what they're calling it. But
yeah.
Let's go back to the subject at hand. Where is our country at? Where is it going? And how can we get it from here to there in the best way possible? And the president had a lot of things last night to fit in that. How do we get from A to B? And I want to just read like 12 bullet points real quick. And I won't comment on any of them, but he covered all of this last night. Tax cuts promised for all Americans. Border closed, deportations underway. Trump touts common sense revolution. Tariffs explained and a little disturbance. Doge findings highlighted. Promised balanced budget. That was a big one. Victims spotlighted. Direct appeal to Greenlanders. Letter from Zelensky. New shipbuilding office. Arrest of top terrorist responsible for Abbeygate. And Democrats' response. Now, if we were to sit here and ask people, did you remember that he talked about the terrorist that was responsible for what happened in Afghanistan when 13 of our service members were killed? Did you remember that was included? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But you see, we get to the point where we're talking about Nancy Pelosi sitting there looking, and I'm sorry. When he started reading the ages of Social Security recipients and they kept panning over to Nancy Pelosi.
The cameraman knew what he was doing.
Between 100 and 105 and 150. And even Trump one time said, I know some old people, but not quite that old. And I knew Pelosi's face was in his mind right then.
Yeah. And then that one purple-haired, I think she's a congresswoman.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but yeah, they kept showing her a lot too.
I don't get her. I mean, you know, the whole dress deal, you know, I get that we live in 2025 and things are different than back in the day. But there are just, there's just some things, you know, how do you show up to a joint session of Congress dressed like that, hair like that? And it's like, I don't give a flying flip what anybody thinks. And I understand that's the way life is today. But the speaker on multiple times talked about decorum. And so if you was watching the typing of that, they were calling it a quorum, which is different than decorum. And, you know, there's just some decorum. I told the story about meeting with a group of Vets for Freedom guys on the steps of the Capitol. Mike Pence was coming out to talk to us when he was still Congressman Pence, which would have been before he was Governor Pence and Vice President Pence. And he was upset because the Sergeant at Arms wasn't having guests that were acting out followed decorum. I mean, it's a big deal. You know, in the grand scheme of things, whether Zelensky wears a suit or doesn't wear a suit, that really ain't the grandest thing. Other than Ronald Reagan would not even take his coat off in the Oval Office, much less show up without a shirt, tie, and coat. And today in the press conference, Caroline, somebody asked her about Elon Musk doesn't wear a coat in the Oval Office. And she said, he wore a suit last night. And she said, yeah, but not when he was in the Oval Office. And yeah. You know, sometimes in life, you just got to do things because that's the way things are done.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm going to say. Now, off of that tangent, on to what do you got next? Ronnie's got it lit up here tonight with things.
So at the very beginning, when Speaker Mike Johnson and JD Vance JD Vance had walked in and he was standing there, and it was pretty funny. We were watching. Ashley even says, I really wish you could hear what they were saying. Well, they got a hot mic, and this was the first bomb drop of the night. Here we go.
This is, I gotta be honest with you, by the way, I think the speech is going to be great, but I don't know how you do this for 90 minutes.
The hardest thing was doing it during Biden, when the speech was a stupid campaign speech.
And so they just got busted on an open mic saying what the rest of the entire world thought.
Yeah, they said the quiet part out loud. Real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick. Representative Rosa L. DeLauro.
Well, I
don't know if that was last night or what. I searched it up last night, but that picture kept coming up over and over and over again. So, but
if that's who I was thinking of it from last night. That's not the way she was dressed last night.
Yeah,
but it could be different. Wow.
But you ever seen one of those poison frogs? You know, nature makes things brightly colored to let you know it's poisonous. There you go.
Well, that worked on that one, didn't it?
There you go. But back to the video, Mike Johnson was sitting there, and JD Vance says, I don't know how you're going to do this for 90 minutes. Mike Johnson says it was really hard with Biden with a stupid political speech or a campaign speech, something like that. So that was the first mic drop of the night right there. I thought that was pretty good. And shortly thereafter, here was the second.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back. 6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
Just getting started.
Yep, just getting started. I loved it when he said America is back and the right side of the place stood up and the left side sat there like this. Pathetic.
Well, and we got to be realistic. Whoever is the president is going to more than not have their own side that is doing the standing up, the clapping, the hoots and the hollers and all of that. But there ought to be certain things that the entire place would stand up. And we'll get into some of those because there was plenty yesterday that they had the opportunity and actually really did look kind of stupid. Ugh, there's that word again. How does it work? When I think of them, I think, whew, note to self. Democrat does not equal stupid. No, don't lie to yourself, Ed.
Not necessarily. But...
Okay, now let's flash back real quick the picture that you had up there, and Chris Moore, who happens to have 3 young children, said that looked like a Power Rangers villain.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, you and Chris have something in common. Other than having kids, Chris is a drummer.
Oh, I kind of like drummers. They're pretty decent people.
Yeah. At least these 2 drummers are. Well, you kind of had a mic drop, and I've got one here that is just really, really short. It won't take no time at all for this mic to drop on this one.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Oh, J.D. Vance was up out of his seat real quick, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And there's just certain things that when you watch a speech and you know that they're going to remember that one.
Yeah.
They are going to remember that one. We just did a new president.
That's all we needed was a new president. So
keep on rolling, brother.
All right. I got a little 19-second clip where he was talking about weaponized government. This was a pretty good part too.
And we have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good.
That right there was great. He says, how'd that work out? And he looked right at the Democrats. Not too good. Well, it didn't. It didn't. He's a violent felon. Yeah.
You know, I thought for the most part, he was, you got to factor in, it's Donald Trump, okay? He's going to get in his zingers.
Oh, yeah.
But for the most part, he was, I thought, under control. He didn't just stand there and well, he didn't give them back what they gave to him.
No.
You know, he could have came with his own sign, shut up, you know, held that up in their face.
Right.
Or whatever. So I thought, but there are some that you know, you have the clip, I think, where he talked about the left that didn't matter what he would have done. It's actually echoing what many of us say on a regular basis, you know, that he could have cured a disease or gotten crime down to the lowest number in history. You got that clip, don't you?
I believe so. I like the fact that he kind of baited a trap for the Democrats. They fell right on in and stayed that way, stuck in his mousetrap the rest of the night. So what he was saying was nothing he could do would please them. There's nothing he's going to do or say that's going to make them clap or applaud or stand up or cheer or anything. And that was the cheese. And the little Demo rats saw that and went right after the cheese, and the mousetrap closed on him, because later on, every time that something good was said, Democrats sat there. And those people wouldn't even stand up and clap for a 13-year-old boy with cancer. You know, they didn't stand up and clap for Laken Riley's family. They didn't stand up and clap for the Border Patrol agent who was shot at. No one. So they sat there in their trap the rest of the night. I think this is the clip, so I'm going to play it now.
This is my fifth such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
That right there. Go ahead.
I think if it would have went on for another few seconds, he said something to the effect of, "Why don't we try it for one night?" Or you know, basically he kind of like, give it a try. What do you got to lose?
Well, let's work together. Let's try it out. But they were too busy, because, like we said last night, I mean, no matter what, they're not for any of this. They're just anti-Trump. So, you know, 13-year-old boy with cancer, which I have several videos of him. You know, they're not anti-little boy with cancer. They're anti-Trump. They just, why they wouldn't even stand up and respect that kid, or the Border Patrol agent who was shot at, or anybody else that was there. You know, they weren't there supporting Trump. They were there for them, which is what happens a lot during State of the Union addresses. But come on, you guys hate Trump that bad? You couldn't even stand up and support a boy with cancer?
Well, he was like a prophet there. I mean, what he said, they almost had to do.
Yeah.
Or else then they would have, well, I don't know. They could have like, well, he said so we're going to change it. We're going to do it different this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And they sat there with their little ping pong paddles, Musk steals, and Save Medicaid, and Liar, and all the women sat there wearing pink, you know, supporting women's suffrage or whatever, even though every single one of those women wearing pink last night voted against women with the men playing sports. They voted against all that, but they support women. Glad they support women. And even when Trump had pointed out the blonde lady, I don't remember her name, who was hurt playing volleyball, I believe it was a volleyball. Yeah, they didn't even clap for her. All these Democrat females are wearing pink. You're supposed to be supporting women. Here's a woman, support her, and nope, didn't even do that.
Speechless.
It's because of who she was sitting next to, you know. If it was a
And who
Democrat,
invited her, and who it was that heard her.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I've got this video of DJ getting his honors.
I got to tell you before you play that, there was one point during that one where tears almost rushed down my face. I mean, I teared up big time at the one point. It was so touching.
The version we saw, it didn't really show his reaction that much. I watched TikToks later on where it kind of showed his reaction a little bit more. This version shows his reaction while Trump was speaking, and he kind of starts, his eyes get real big. So watch the little boy's reaction. It's beautiful. Here we go.
And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
I sure hope people remember that during midterms. I truly, truly do.
And Trump pointed out at one point something to that effect, that they had the opportunity to vote on certain things and that people in the midterms won't forgive them for. Now, it's a long time till midterms. But I mean, it is a long time.
And tonight, DJ, we're going to do.
Sorry, I hit the wrong
right.
button. Sorry. No, I was trying to delete thing and it popped up. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, it's never a long time until midterms. Heavy campaigning will start here 6 months or so, probably.
Yeah.
But I always look back to where the first George H.W. Bush was president, and he said, or he had the highest approval rating at that point in time ever, right after we kicked Iraq out of Kuwait and sent them packing. He had the highest, and then read my lips, no new taxes, and lost the election.
Yep.
Was a one-term president. And so it's always going to get back to the economy. Well, with Trump, it's the economy and we hate Trump. Even if the economy was good, which we did have before COVID, the economy was good, but we still hate Trump.
Pretty much. Doesn't matter. They still hate Trump, no matter what.
Yeah, they hate Trump. Well, I know we've got more on this DJ
Yes.
situation here, and I've got one. I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way. Sometimes the media just ought to just shut up.
But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
Now, how can you take what we just watched, and I think most everybody that's in here probably knows the story that goes with it, take what this woman just spewed out of her mouth from what you watched a minute ago? It's beyond disgusting. And today in her press conference, Caroline called that woman out by name during the press conference about how despicable it was for her to say those things. And is there no end to, how is that moral in any way?
It's not. It's just, it's more anti-Trump rhetoric. She took a sweet story like DJ, getting to become a Secret Service agent and turned it around to anti-Trump. It's just more crap.
Well, I mean, when you think about the whole thing that they all sat there, I think there were a few of them that clapped. I seen it, the camera swing a little bit, and I think there was some pink-shirted people that were clapping. But the fact that they just sit there and were so stubborn that they couldn't take 30 seconds and say, forget Donald Trump.
Yeah.
This little kid deserves a standing ovation from everybody in the entire country.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't just him. I mean, Laken Riley, that Border Patrol agent, everybody else that was there. I just closed the window. It had everybody in it, but everybody deserved a standing ovation there. Everybody deserved recognition that they had there, at least.
And even I thought it was really cool. He gave the information that the one kid was going to get to go to the academy.
Yes, West Point. Yeah.
West Point.
Yeah, so that he was accepted. Yeah, that was pretty cool too.
Well, tell us more about DJ. Show us more of what you got.
Well, I've got another one. This was DJ today. He went and saw President Trump.
What a good-looking family, huh?
There's one more thing I got for you, a big hug.
Okay, good. That's very nice. Look at that family you got, huh?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. How are you? Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. That was a big evening last night, right?
Yes, it was.
That was a big evening.
So President Trump sitting there at the Resolute desk, and his family came in. I thought that was really cool.
I didn't know what he was going to do when he said, I got some. I thought maybe he had a badge or something he was going to hand him. And he just gave him a hug.
Yeah.
I'm sure that kid has made more than one person cry with a hug.
Oh, yeah. And there's a 13-year-old brain cancer survivor. They gave him 6 months to live, and here he's still upright and kicking, and he's got a future. So thank God for that.
And you think the lady, so to speak, lady that was saying the rude stuff, she paid close enough attention to the story that she said, I hope he lives for another 95 years. He's lived for 5 years. So, I mean, you see, she knew what she was talking about.
Yeah.
it wasn't just a slip of the tongue. And I hope that that little boy doesn't have to see those kind of things. I hope he's protected from them, at least till he's older, to where he can. I mean, think about that. Can you imagine him sitting there and looking at his dad and saying, "Daddy, why would that woman say that?"
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and me say, "Okay, Daddy, go ahead and explain to him why she would say that." And
the whole thing about, she hopes he's not one of the ones that commit suicide. What a cruel thing to say to somebody who's been through so much. Let's just hope he don't kill himself. Come on.
Well, how disrespectful to the officers that serve and have served, to ones who have committed suicide. How disrespectful to current law enforcement, because if Trump was as bad with law enforcement in mind as what she made it seem to believe, why isn't every police union in the country going berserk? No, most of them support him. But if he was as bad as what she made him out to be, then everyone in law enforcement should hate Donald Trump. And that's just not the case. They don't.
No. And one thing they're forgetting is more than half the country voted for the man. You guys had your 4 years where you had the House, Senate, presidency. Now it's our turn. Stand up and clap for the 13-year-old cancer kid. Stand up and clap for the people that survived. Stand up and clap for Laken Riley's family. Stand up and clap for the things that he has done, for the things that Donald Trump has done, but they're not going to. What
about the little girl who they named the zoo after?
Oh, the wildlife refuge. Yeah. Nope. They sat there. And I've got my last video here. It's Sean Hannity, and I believe he talks a little bit about all that.
Democrats tonight were so pathetic. They couldn't even stand for Laken Riley's family. Jocelyn Nungary, his mother, a slain officer's wife, Stephanie Diller. They couldn't even stand for a beautiful 13-year-old cancer survivor who dreams of being a police officer and tonight became a Secret Service agent, DJ Daniel. He said, "This is my 5th time at a joint address from President Trump. And sadly, there is nothing this president could do or say that would make these Democrats stand and cheer. This has now become a party of rage and hate, a radicalized party reduced to a collective temper tantrum, sitting on their hands, doing nothing for the American people. But tonight, this is also a defeated party. No solutions, no coherent message, no plan for the future, simply reduced to political stunts and smears and outright lies."
Well, I think Brian just did the mic drop. If America hated Trump as bad as they say, he wouldn't be president.
No. If he was that bad of a guy, if he was that, I don't know.
Well, with some of the highlights, for some reason, and this goes back to when Green got kicked out. He had brought up, he being the president, brought up the number of counties. Something like, I believe, 2,700 compared to like 525, in the counties, basically making the map almost totally red.
Yeah.
I mean, if you pull out several big cities, I mean, not a handful of them, not like dozens, but a handful. And we've got almost an entire red map. And for some reason, that seemed to grind on him, because it was after that. And then they walked out Green, and then he picked back up where he was, and he said it, and they started grumbling real loud again. Wonder what it is about the counties that get under a crawl.
That's the same. It's the same way as how they get upset every time they say, like on The View the other day, where they were talking about how Trump won the popular vote. Oh, well, it was only by 1.5%. Well, he still won. He did better than he did, in 2020. He did better than he did, So they for some reason they do that every time the numbers get brought up of how much he won by. They immediately get defensive. They shut down. They start throwing a fit. That's one thing I've noticed. A standing stream of every time that gets brought up with a bunch of liberals around. That's their hot button right there.
I seen today, and I actually like when Caroline is doing her press conferences. She's got graphs and she's got
receipts.
Yeah, receipts. But graphs and props is the word I'm looking for, props to use. And she had a graph that was a CBS poll. Now, you wouldn't think of that being anything leaning conservative. I mean, you would think exactly the opposite, a CBS poll, but the CBS poll taken after the speech, 79% of the people who watched the speech approved of what Trump had to say. 79%.
That's amazing.
I mean,
a lot less.
I would have figured if he was better than 50, it would have been a good thing.
Yeah.
On a CBS poll.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised they just didn't even cancel it and say we're not publishing this.
Yeah.
So,
I'm shocked they didn't just. That's like the other day on Fox News they were saying about how Trump's approval ratings was like 54%, and then on MSDNC's website yesterday it was saying that Trump right now has the lowest approval rating of any president ever. That's like a 30-point difference right there. I don't understand that, but okay.
Well, are they like not including the first 46 presidents and only the 47th?
Or the 46th president himself? I mean, the approval ratings in like what, the 30% range, 31?
Well, we would ask him, but he couldn't remember.
No, he doesn't even remember he's president. Poor man.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I've got some fact checks from MSN here. One of them last night, Trump claimed Elon Musk found people in the Social Security system as old as 369. They claimed it is misleading because Elon Musk shared a chart on X that he found millions of people on Social Security database over the age of 110, including one who was in the 360 to 369 age bracket.
So wait, stop. What was the misleading part?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's
well, I got to just ask, is it misleading that they put up to 369 when they may have only been 300?
368. That's what's misleading about it. Says the acting Social Security commissioner said that people older than 100 do not have a date of death associated with their Social Security record are not necessarily receiving benefits. Recent Social Security Administration data shows that about 89,000 people aged 99 and older receive Social Security payments. So they're not necessarily 369 years old. Wow.
Well, I guess the whole point is if they're dead, whether they're 69 or 369, they don't need to be getting Social Security checks after they die.
Exactly.
Isn't that what the point is? See, that's them focusing on something to get away from the point.
Exactly.
Well, he said there ain't no way somebody even the president said last night, that's like how many 150 years before we were a country.
Exactly.
Not to mention that Social Security didn't come until what, the 40s?
Yeah, something like that, 30s or 40s.
And so,
go ahead.
Well, they're focusing on the outrageous part when the outrageous part is really dead people are still getting Social Security checks.
Yeah, I mean, even a reasonable person is going to sit there and go, okay, 369. Let's look into this. But Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan yesterday or today. I didn't see what day it was, but they were talking about why politicians have they only make $120,000 a year, but they're worth millions. And he couldn't go into it several times, and he just kept saying, I'm going to get assassinated. I'm going to get assassinated. I'll get assassinated. I can't talk about that. And he says, I'm going to Washington, D.C. tomorrow. You're going to get me killed. So, don't look at the 369-year-old man who's receiving Social Security benefits, because he's not really getting them. They're coming to my bank account kind of thing. I don't know. Here's another one. The Trump claim, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud found by Doge. The fact check by MSN is, this is unverifiable. This claim is unverifiable because Doge has yet to release the entirety of its work or specify which cuts have been fraud or opposed to waste. Doge has claimed to have saved $106 billion in total savings, not hundreds of billions in fraud. And even Elon Musk himself says they have mostly found waste and mostly not fraud. Well, first off, that was a poorly written sentence, but I did find a video earlier, and I've got one more. I'm not going to show all of it, but it shows partially where all of this wasteful spending that Doge is found.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda.
Well, you get the point, but that's where all our money's going. So.
And, sometimes you got to laugh. Because when you think about it, I think everybody that's in here, our entire lives, whether when we were kids, we heard our parents complain about the taxes on their paycheck, up until the taxes, they're taken out on the paycheck that you're currently on. Then you factor in all of the other taxes that we pay over, how hard people work for their money to give it to people like Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should say Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Well, he needs it. He needs it.
Yeah, well.
I don't know why, but he needs it. So
he hadn't been hammered in a while.
I was wondering which one of us was going to say that first.
Yeah, I beat you. I beat you.
I was debating, but I figured I'd let you take that one and knock it out.
See, I like my presidents, like my guns, 45 and 47, or 40 and 45.
40 and 45.
Yeah,
and
well,
47.
And 47.
Oh boy, yeah. This MSN is great. Fact checked. There will be little disturbance for Americans because of tariffs. They fact checked that as lacking context. Trump claimed not long ago 1 in 10,000 children had autism. Now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong. Fact checked is partially true, but again lacking context. Trump claimed Mexican authorities. Sorry, go ahead.
You do realize that you and I could start our own fact-checking business. We might go broke doing it, but we could start our own fact-checking business and put it out there. Like,
oh yeah. And I remember when COVID first started, and it was so ridiculous on Facebook. Like it was all the time. I couldn't get on there without seeing, such and such scratches, but fact check, partially true. Well, this stupid crap like this really need fact check all the time? But that was ridiculous here about the beginning of COVID.
And context, facts and context. Well,
Yes.
it's true, but if you look at it from this perspective,
Yeah,
But I wonder if that's Bill that was fact checked several times last night. Isn't that what wives do to husbands? They fact check them.
yes, yeah, pretty much. And I always lose.
Well,
always. Let's see. Trump claimed Mexican authorities handed over 29 of the biggest cartel leaders because of tariffs imposed on them. They want to make us happy. Fact checked as true. They actually fact checked it as true. Trump's claim India charges U.S. auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariffs on our products is twice what we charge them, and South Korea's tariff is 4 times higher. And they've fact checked that as false. I don't know. This is crazy. And very upsetting, but whatever. I'm used to it.
Tanya's
That's
the one
liberal
that
media
got fact checked.
What's
I
that?
bet you Bill wasn't. Tanya's the one that got fact checked, and I bet it wasn't Bill that was doing the fact checking. Because I know Bill. Bill's smarter than that.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you and I both mentioned off the air that the speech was really, really, really long.
Yes.
And it was. Could have been shorter had not been so many shenanigans that were played. I don't know. It's almost like he ought to just sit in the Oval Office and read it to the country.
Alone, just him and a camera person.
Because now, some people may be irritated with me for saying this. Republicans haven't always been guilt-free of shenanigans. A few years ago, during one of Biden's speeches, Marjorie Taylor Greene and one of the other women heckled Biden a little bit. And I remember when that happened, and I remember saying, I wish they wouldn't do that stuff. So if you fact checked, you would find that, and Boebert, I think was the other one.
Lauren Boebert, yeah.
Yeah, I think her and Green were the two that heckled.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think had it gone on any distance of time like it did last night, that the other Republicans would have allowed that to keep happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate how they do those so late anyways.
Well, yeah, 9 o'clock start here. And it was easily after 11 when he stopped talking.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to listen to the news pundits, or man, there's no way I could have listened to the Democratic response.
Yeah. Yeah. The YouTube channel that I watched didn't have her on it. They didn't have the rights to play it, but they played, what was his name? Bernie Sanders. Yeah, they had Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, your mom's seen something about that, and I keep telling her, well, I got to watch it, and she said he made a fool out of himself.
Oh, he did. He just rambled on and on and on and on and on, and I was playing a game and ignored him. But even if I was paying attention, I wouldn't have cared what he said because it's Bernie Sanders. I mean,
right.
But he kept bringing up the point of Donald Trump and his rich buddies and the billionaire sitting in front of him, and the billionaire sitting in the gallery, and the billionaire sitting behind him, and the billionaires. Give it up, man. Just, yeah, they're billionaires. Who cares? Yeah, he brought up the climate a lot. Yeah.
Nice. He's backing the farmers. That was touching too.
Yes, absolutely.
The way he went about what he said there, that was very, very good.
Absolutely.
One of the things that he didn't go into as much as I would have liked and would have probably assumed that he would have was Israel and what's going on there. He mentioned it, but I was watching some coverage from press of Israel, and they weren't upset. They were disappointed, I think would be the better word, that he didn't talk more about it. Yeah. I think when it comes to that one, I think we're fixing to find out what he meant about hell to pay. I think people may have underestimated that with well, he didn't do anything.
He's been rather quiet about it.
That's why I'm thinking,
yeah,
you factor a lot of things in. You factor in all of the negatives that have gone into hostage releases, remaining hostages, finding out how those children were brutally murdered after being kidnapped.
Yeah.
And and Bill and Tanya got here. Golden Dome idea was cool. And that is part of what the collaboration with Israel on that. And he gave a shout out to my commander in chief, the Gipper, about that started with Star Wars SDI and just didn't have enough technology back then. But the idea was put into place.
Yeah.
Anybody out there that is listening, watching, have anything that they want us to address? Glad we were able to go back-to-back nights. I think Ronnie must have slept some last night. He looks, he doesn't look like he's going to fall asleep on us tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of sleep and Tylenol is a wonderful thing.
Well, if we don't have anything else, you got anything?
No, we will see everybody back here next Tuesday.
Unless I'm kind of hoping that we get a good chance. The timing for you and I has to be almost perfect to be able to jump on here with something live.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping, not for something negative to happen. It'd be great if we jumped on live with something really great that was happening. But
absolutely.
You never know when we're going to break in. If we do, we got to try to figure out a way to send out a notification. Maybe we should let people know again. And I think we've got a banner.
Yes, we should.
We don't have our 100 yet.
No.
And so you can go to edandronnie.com, I believe. Let me see it here. Yes, edandronnie.com, and the other one, edandronnie.com is good enough. You go there, you click on the Facebook tab. That'll take you to the Red, White, and True Facebook page. We need 100 followers there. We're in the 60s, so we're getting closer. And then we can, if we had everything based out of the Red, White, and True Facebook group, then we could be putting notifications out if we're able to go live on something and get that word out that way. We also could use some help with our YouTube page. So
we had trouble finding it last night.
I don't know why, but we got there. Go to edandronnie.com, click on the YouTube channel there, and we need 100, and that's going to take a little more work than the Facebook one. But I know somebody specifically asked Ronnie last night if we're up on our YouTube channel. Well, we can't be up on our YouTube channel yet. So the bigger we build things, it's kind of like you get one thing going and that helps with the next thing. And so in order to build the bridges, you got to have the parts to build them with.
That's right.
Honda plant coming to good old Indiana.
Yeah, he mentioned that in his speech last night as well.
And shipbuilding. I had that in my list. If you, well, it's time to say goodnight, and there is Mary Bailey. She was at Bible study. So, well, say goodnight, Ronnie.
Good night, everybody. We will see you on Tuesday
night.
Unless we see you before then.
Yeah, unless we see you before then.
Yep.
But until we do see you again, go out and do the right thing.